What if I told you there's a social media platform that's the future of music, and it's not TikTok? That's next on Keep It Social. What's up, everybody? I'm Paris, and this is Keep It Social. Have you heard of Twitch? Well, the platform made famous for gaming could be revolutionizing the music industry. With concert venues closed during the pandemic, musicians have turned to social media to try to make a living. We all saw concerts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, but it's Twitch that may be becoming every musician's favorite platform. Twitch offers musicians a better split on paid subscriptions and allows users to tip the performers directly. Inside the industry, there are many who predict live streaming on Twitch will live beyond COVID. So here to rock out with me is my favorite co-host, Terrence. Hey, Terrence, how are you?
I'm living my life like it's gold in Paris. How are you today?
I'm good, Terrence. And we also have with us today Cherie Hu, a music and tech writer who joins us from New York. Hi, Cherie. How's it going? Good to see you again.
Hey, I'm doing well. Yeah, thank you as well.
Mm-hmm. We also have with us today musician and Twitch streamer Megan Lenius, who joins us from Minneapolis. Hi, Megan.
Hello.
So, Megan, you're a musician. How did you start streaming on Twitch, and why have you stayed?
It was a really odd, just like when you get really bored and then you start falling down a rabbit hole of like all of your exes or like every person of like, who are all of the people that are now more successful than I am? So it was one of those. And it happened to be a old friend of mine that I saw his stream, and he had a few hundred people there and he had like $600 in his tip jar. And that was my like, all right, I'm doing something wrong. I need to figure out how to stream music on Twitch. So that was a few years ago, and I've been doing it ever since.
And did you try other music platforms before, or platforms for your music, I should say?
I did. Growing up in like the realm of the internet, I was a big YouTube kid. I posted a lot of YouTube videos growing up of music stuff. I tried Stage It, and I tried just about every platform that came out that was directed towards musicians before I found Twitch. I had attempted using or tried, performing on a few times. Twitch was just the first one that stuck.
And, I think that's actually interesting because I never knew that Twitch was honestly geared towards musicians, right? Like my automatic association with Twitch has always been gaming, like Call of Duty, Fortnite, whatever's happening right in the gaming realm. That's what I always associated with Twitch, right? And so when we came across this and realizing, people are streaming music, it was eye-opening to me, almost in the same sense of how, TikTok has been, diving into music streaming and getting its foot wet as well. So how do you both, Cherie and Megan, how do you see Twitch kind of almost changing its face or evolving, so to speak, to like the larger public? How do you see that affecting, the stability, the longevity of Twitch, like going forward?
I can say some thoughts. So I think a lot of people know about Twitch first and foremost through gaming, but I think their fastest growing category right now, or all the fastest ones, are outside of gaming. Like I think their largest category in terms of numbers of streamers or like viewers at any given time is a category called just chatting. And it's like a very kind of like grab bag category. It could be a lot of people literally just chatting, answering questions from viewers, or there are a lot of like musicians who will do more casual streams under that category as well. And so I think, it's a really interesting kind of point in their history as a company where they're trying to expand far beyond gaming and also responding to this growing demand for live streaming outside of gaming. And with music specifically, they didn't even have a designated music page until this year. They only made it recently, I think within the last month, largely in response to a lot of tours being canceled. And then as a result, a lot of musicians going to Twitch to start live streaming themselves.
So it's kind of funny how we've seen this evolution of like the relationship between music and social media, because I think of kind of once MySpace like tampered down and stopped being, you know, the place for you instant message your like middle school crush, it became this music platform all of a sudden. And that kind of like didn't really take off. And then we saw TikTok becomes this destination. And Cherie, we've spoken with you about that before, about, you know, Lil Nas X took off on TikTok and all these other songs took off there. And so now there's Twitch, and we're seeing this as maybe having a chance to really revolutionize when we think about monetizing what musicians do. And so I'm wondering what like is the is that trajectory possible? Do we think that that's actually, that this is going to be the one that really makes it?
I think that it's definitely when it comes to like Twitch's on the platform itself, Twitch is really like built in the like people wanting to give. It's in the culture of it's that people want to give to the creator that they're watching. And that usually doesn't happen on social media. Like I remember watching YouTube videos and like creators being called sellouts when they first started taking sponsorships. Like it was a big thing, people, you know, accepting money. And it's the complete opposite on Twitch. It's just, you know, in the fabric of the platform to want to give to the creators. And because of that, I mean, I've been able to crowdfund all of my recording in the last, you know, few years. Every bit of equipment that I'd want, I'd be able to crowdfund through it. And so I think that the more musicians that go onto the platform, you know, especially indie musicians, and they realize that they're able to have like a Patreon and a performance aspect built into two, it could definitely, you know, create that.
I see that as a, you know, extremely beneficial, especially when we talk about platforms and what their goal is and how, you know, their messaging or their pillars are woven into the culture of a platform, right? Which is what you talked about, Megan. I think that's extremely important, especially when we talk about how we want to support gig artists and support creators and support all of these people, especially in this moment, right? Where so many of those opportunities that are, you know, normally there really aren't. And so I, you know, being new to Twitch, the Twitch world, and now hearing you say that for me is, you know, I admire that because I, like you said, that type of giving aspect, supporting aspect, like truly, especially with money, is definitely not common among a lot of other platforms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, Cherie, like, is the appetite there? Because I'm thinking, for me personally, I mean, if I really love an artist, like y'all are talking about, like, yeah, I'm gonna flock. I would pay for that. And so, Cherie, I wonder what's the appetite for consumers, for listeners?
Yeah, I think there absolutely is an appetite, and I think it will stay long term. But part of it is very much because people are stuck at home and they can't go, you know, see their favorite artist or any artist for that matter at an in-person show. I think in general the impact of the pandemic is that it's made people crave more direct social connection in general. And if you look at least the channels that a lot of artists were prioritizing or preoccupied with, it actually was not that direct. So like you had streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music and the like that are convenient, but in terms of fostering a closer relationship between the artist and the fan, it's like almost impossible to do on those services because the artist can't even like message fans on Spotify yet, like as an example. So the dominant like consumption model for music is more detached. And then on standard social media like Facebook or Instagram, yes, you can make a post, but there's a good chance that people might just scroll right past it or might not even see it unless you're, you know, like paying for advertising on those platforms. Whereas with live streaming, while yes, like you might reach a smaller audience than you would on like bigger platforms like Facebook or Instagram, the audience that's there and staying there is like really super engaged. And I've heard of a lot of artists who maybe in real life would only be able to book shows at 100 to 200 capacity venues just because they're up and coming. But as they invest more in live streaming, they're able to play for an audience that's many times larger than that, maybe like 400 to 500 concurrent viewers on a live stream, which if that's consistent throughout a live stream is basically the equivalent of an in-person show, at least in terms of the attention and the commitment that people have. So I think it's definitely allowed independent artists to reach a global audience instantly, which I think is a really powerful benefit in comparison or in contrast to touring, where you'd have to go city to city and basically play the same show in each place.
And Megan, I mean, as a musician, how do you feel about that? I mean, do you think it's something like Twitch at least, is a really nice way for you to connect with your fans?
It's my favorite part about streaming. That's Cherie definitely hit the nail on the head, that there's the immediate interaction that you get with your fans is what, like, that creates a true fan faster than any other platform. And that's what I think really encourages the giving aspect of Twitch, is that people are oftentimes spending, I think it's over, I don't know the specific number, but I want to say it's like an hour and 10 minutes is like the average watch time for a person on Twitch. And so if you're comparing that to like, that's like somebody is really putting an investment into like watching a creator. And I think a lot of that has to do with the, being able to have an actual conversation with them. It's just like you're hanging out with your friend, and, it's like anybody that watches my stream is like they're hanging out with me in my studio. They get to, listen to a musician play from their home. And that's something that you don't get to see like ever from your favorite artist.
Well, Megan, that's fascinating. And, I'm going to start looking for my favorite artists on Twitch. And now I have one more to listen to. So, well, Megan, Cherie, thank you both so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you as well.
Thank you.
And that's it for us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our social channels, and let us know what you'd like to see on the show. And so, Megan, if you wouldn't mind, we'd love for you to play us off today. And I hear that you've got a song called Allison to play with for us.
I do. This is a song. You can listen to it on Spotify, anywhere else. Just look up my name. Allison was a Sagittarius, broke my heart in the winter. I remember watching ice roll past as I threw out your letter. Spent a lot of time thinking about you, what you said to me that day. And I wonder if you knew that I was so in love with you. Allison was a Sagittarius, broke my heart in the summer. I learned that sometimes I don't care what's irresponsible. Wonder if she thinks about me, what we could be, if she could see that we will never fall in love. Allison was a Sagittarius. Don't remember why I loved her. Everything that I once felt sometimes comes back to linger. I'm sorry for thinking we might be in love. You just brought me back to the winter where I was so in love with her, where I was so in love with her. Thank you.